How did this piece come to life?
This piece was composed at the request of violinist Hangul Kim, who asked Hyunsung Park to compose a violin solo based on the theme of Dies Irae. Park began working on it on April the 15th, 2023, and completed it by April the 22nd of the same year.
What exactly is Dies Irae?
Dies Irae is a chant from the medieval Gregorian Requiem Mass. It conveys themes of Christian salvation and divine judgment, and has been so influential that many composers throughout history have incorporated it into their works.
You mentioned that Dies Irae conveys a message of salvation and judgment. Could you explain how the theme of judgment is reinterpreted in the fantasy on Dies Irae for violin solo? Also, could you analyze the structure of the piece?
To fully understand this piece, it's essential to recognize the composer's use of numerical symbolism, which is explained in detail in a video on Park's YouTube channel. Apart from the final 83 bars, which are tonal, the entire work is structured using this symbolism. The piece opens with a bourrée, a lively French dance also featured in Bach's partitas numbers 1 and 3. This playful bourrée symbolizes paradise, but is harshly distorted at the end, representing the fall from paradise. The opening section is 66 bars long, a number symbolizing sin in the Bible and representing imperfection. This method of using numerical symbolism was also a hallmark of Bach's compositions.
What is the fall from paradise?
The fall from paradise refers to the event in the Bible where God banishes Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden after they eat from the tree of knowledge. While some interpret this as a symbolic event, other texts, such as the Urantia book, consider it historical. For Park, the focus is on its symbolism, the fall of human consciousness into duality. The serpent's temptation, eat this fruit, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil, is persuasive. But God transcends the concept of good and evil, which only applies to the material world. This fall represents humanity's descent from a divine state, symbolized by Eden, into a dualistic material consciousness. This is depicted in the piece as the first judgment, symbolized by Dies Irae. From this perspective, the following sections explore the theme of duality, which is why an extended meditative passage follows, alternating between A and B sections. The A section is a retrograde form of the Dies Irae, representing humanity's desire and efforts to reclaim their lost divine nature. Each bar in this section follows non-retrogradable rhythmic patterns based on numerically imperfect values, arranged as a massive non-retrogradable sequence.
Why did Park choose a non-retrogradable structure for the A section?
The non-retrogradable structure erases the concept of a defined beginning or end. In the book of Revelation, God says, "I am the Alpha and the Omega," while in the Buddhist Diamond Sutra, it is written, if a bodhisattva is still caught up in the idea of a self, a person, a living being, or a lifespan, that person is not an authentic bodhisattva. In Park's works, the non-retrogradable structure often relates to the concept of lifespan.
Could you explain the B section in more detail?
Every measure in the B section is based on numerically perfect values, and it features various musical characters. The performer is free to choose the order in which they play this section, symbolizing humanity's indulgence in earthly pleasures, represented by the 5 desires and 7 emotions. This idea of play is similar to Arvo Pärt's Tabula Rasa, where the first movement is titled Ludus. In Ludus, The cadenza symbolizes humanity's entrapment in karma, followed by a tragic coda that illustrates the inescapable cycle of karma. In the fantasy on Dies Irae, the freedom to choose the order of the B section represents humanity's illusion of free will while indulging in worldly pleasures, though they are still bound by the overarching structure of the A section. Much like the karmic wheel, while humans may feel they are acting freely, they remain constrained by the universal laws of karma. Musically, this long meditation contrasts and clashes between the duality of the A and B sections, with the imperfect and perfect numerical values representing this conflict.
What follows after this long meditative section?
The next section consists entirely of microtones and is a retrograde inversion of the Dies Irae. The combination of 3/4 tone intervals and sol ponticello creates an oppressive, harsh, and painful sound. Each bar is built on numerically imperfect values, representing the painful process of dissolving the dualistic ego through ascetic or spiritual discipline. The return of the original Dies Irae theme that follows signifies the death of the old self and the rebirth of a new being, representing the second judgment in the piece.
What is the significance of the tonal section at the end?
The final tonal section, lasting about 4 to 5 minutes, symbolizes how a human heart, as small as a soybean, can grow vast as the universe through spiritual practice. When human consciousness expands to this level, they can finally make meaningful contributions to the world and help others.